In this movie, we're going to review how to multiply decimals. The basic step is, first of all, you want to always count what is the number of decimal places. You're going to multiply normally, and then you're going to count the decimal spaces of the product, so that there's number of decimal places in the product is the same as what you counted originally. Before we go through how to multiply decimals much further than this and applying these, we're going to take a look at just basically how to multiply large numbers in general. I find it easiest to set this up vertically, so put 345 times 723. Okay, we're going to begin with this last digit. We're going to take it and multiply by each of these numbers. So I start with the 3 times 5, I get 15. I put the 5 here, carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is going to be 13. Put the 3, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, and then I'm going to add the 1. So basically I'm going to multiply and then add whatever I carry from not being able to write 2 digits down here. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. This one I'm going to write the 10 down here because I have no other number to carry it to. Okay, this is the end of that number. Then I go on to the next number. I begin with the 2. Since I'm beginning in the second row, I'm going to start here. I can put a 0 here just as a placeholder, okay, but I'm always going to start it's the second row, I'm going to start in the second place over from the right. 2 times 5 is 10, so I'm going to put a 0, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, add the 1 is 9, and then 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. And last but not least, I'm going to take a look at the 7. 7 times 5, okay, actually down here I'm going to go begin in this third spot, so I'm going to fill in the zeros. 7 times 5 is 35, put the 5, carry the 3. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 3 is 31. So I put the 1, carry the 3. 7 times 3 is 21, add the 3, so I get 24. At this point, I'm going to take this, I'm going to add what I have here. So this is 5, 3, 9 plus 5 is 14, put the 4, carry the 1. Okay, that adds up to 9, 4, 2. So I have 249,435. Now in this next slide, we're going to take the same numbers, but we're going to look at in terms of decimals. So I'm going to begin with 3 and 45 hundredths, and I'm going to multiply by 72 and 3/10. Now the first step I said was to count the number of decimal places. So I have 1 in this number, and I have 2 here. So 2 plus 1 will equal 3. 3 is the number of decimal places I have in the original problem. So in my answer, once I get the product, that's how many decimal spaces I'm going to want to put. So I'm going to follow the same steps as before. So I'm going to pause the video really quick and do this just to save a little bit of time. And as you can see, I arrived at the same numbers for my answer, which would originally need 249,435. But because I had decimals in the original problem, I'm going to need to make sure I have 3 decimal places at the end. So I'm always going to picture starting here and going over 1, 2, 3 spaces to put a decimal place right here. So my answer will actually end up equaling 249 and 435 thousandths. This is my answer for the problem. So basically, all you're doing is multiplying with the, and kind of ignoring the decimals, except for counting in the beginning and making sure I have that answers in the end. Now, there may come a time where by sort of the way things multiply out, like for example, if I do 3.2 times maybe 5, I can say I have 1 decimal place in my original problem. When I go through and multiply this, this is 0, this is 1, this is going to be 16. Okay? So I end up with a 160. When I take the 1 decimal place, I put this here. So I end up with an answer of 16.16. 16.0. Well, so because of when I look at the product, I do have this one decimal place. But because when I look at what I got for a product, 16.0 makes no sense to write it that way. We can write it in simpler terms in terms of 16. So my only caution with this is in this particular situation, if you end up with the 0 at the very end to the far right, once you count the number of decimal spaces and get your answer and make sure the number of decimal spaces here matches with the number in the original problem, look at what you have for an answer and make sure you simplify it as what I did here. So anyway, that's basically how you multiply decimals. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, and looking forward to practicing tomorrow.